I suppose if you looked up cleanliness in the dictionary, you'd see Mr. Clean, and then you'd see Tricia right beside of him. Tricia, you're in the business of making things clean, aren't you?
Absolutely. Have been for 35 years.
That's a beautiful thing. At this time of year, it's just like every year we start talking about the cold and flu season, and we keep getting better and better about how these things are transmitted. But what we know is that cold, dry air really allows these germs to kind of flourish. And now we know, too, that flu and cold viruses can actually live outside the human body for up to a full day, can't they?
Yep, that's true. And on soft surfaces, only to about 6 hours. The problem is most people aren't touching soft surfaces, meaning the sofas, carpeting, things like that. The hard surfaces, like door handles, stairwells, elevator buttons, they are lasting up to 24 hours. And keep in mind, too, those are areas that janitorial companies are generally not cleaning. So it just keeps building and building and building.
Yeah, do you think most people, like, my family and I were recently in Washington, D.C., and occasionally we'd see people, walking, jogging, biking, and they would have, the face mask on, like the surgical mask kind of thing. Do you think that's going to continue to be in vogue? People care more and more about their own health? And if so, is that an effective way to keep those germs at bay?
Yes, on all counts. I do think it's going to become a bigger trend. Keep in mind when SARS happened over in Asia, it was not an odd thing to be seen in a mask. And I think the more that that's kind of an accepted thing, I think we're going to see more of it across the world. And too, there's a lot of people now who have respiratory issues or have the asthmas and things like that. They almost have to wear those whenever they get into situations where there's lots of pollen or there's lots of dust or pollution to keep themselves healthy.
I'm just trying to think as you're talking, hard surface versus soft surface. As I'm just going through my regular routine, there's probably going to be, get into the office. I'm going to be touching, like you said, door handles, doorknobs. I'm into the public bathrooms at work. But even at lunch, I mean, just the act of pulling out my own chair and pushing it back in, I'm exposing myself to germs.
Well, and keep in mind, if you're eating in restaurants, most restaurants are not, they're using that same rag all day long to clean every single table, and they're certainly not touching the chairs. So, again, the germs just keep building up and building up and being smeared from one place to the next. They're not actually being disregarded and thrown away.
I chuckle when you use the term smeared through the day. There's a gross nature of this conversation every year, but my gosh, that just really brings it home.
Yep, and that's the reality of it.
So I mean, above washing our hands, what do you recommend? I mean, as a person who is in the clean it up business, what do you recommend? What's the best way for me to stay healthy and keep on top of cold and flu season?
First off, get your flu shot. That's the most important. But second of all, the thing that you can do is keep a little package of those wipes with you. When you know that you're going to be somewhere like the mall where you're going to be touching escalators and doors and things like that, every so often wipe your hands off. Keep the little wipe. They have the sanitizers in a wipe and little sprays now, and they keep them in those little tiny packages that you can slip in a purse or a pocket. Keep those with you. If you have a small child, make sure you're washing their hands on a regular basis. Their immune systems are not developed yet. Older people, their systems have already started waning. So you want to make sure you're really taking care of the people whose immune systems are not as strong as they could be. Most people, their immune systems are strong enough so that you don't have to go these incredible measures, but you still have to be cognizant of the things that you can do to protect yourself.
Well, it's that time of year, and with Thanksgiving coming, the germs will be traveling far and wide. Tricia, I appreciate the update and the information this morning. That's Tricia Holderman. She is in the clean business at Elite Facility Systems.